Hello, welcome to the Campamento de Oracion or Camp of Prayers. Greetings from me, from Sister Berenice, but they call me Sister Bere. Um, Today, the topic of today will be regarding is the battlefield of the gospel for the new generation. I wanted to open with Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11 to 12. Um, so in Ephesians 6, chapter 6, verse 11, I start with, "Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." 12. "For we wrestle not against the flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places." With this, I want to touch topic with how in today's time in the gospel, we as Christians are struggling against forces that are spiritually and physically. Uh, Sexuality and gender, abortion, feminism, which affects both marriage and causes both divorces, and entertainment, how these subtopics talk about what's the battlefield today in the gospel, how it's hard for us to for us as Christians, as the youth, um, how this is our future. This is our future and present. This is our present and our future. These are what we're battling today. These are topics that are controversial, or people are like atheist and like non-religious. Oh, you guys are just putting things out there, or everything's bad for you. But the truth is, as Christians and in the gospel, it is going against the word of God. I'm 20 years old, and regarding today in schools, I was off in college, at a university, and which was 2 hours away. So I lived near campus. And in my personal experience, due to in sexuality and in gender, like today, pronouns, that affects us. In my biology, in my personal experience in biology, my professor was struggling with. We were talking about in biology, woman and man, the birth, and I remember that during that topic, when we were in that lesson, in that chapter of the book, the professor in the presentation, he would look up, thinking that maybe someone is gonna say something against it, or like fight him, argue with him. But in my personal experience, I haven't seen that much of a struggle. I know in other places, other people's personal experience, it's worse or bad. But the only time I've seen like how bad it is, or how important, or how moral your morality, your way of your personal opinion affects others. As we are in here I'm in the United States. How in the United States, since we have freedom of speech, how in today, even though like we shouldn't mix religion with politics, but today in the present time, that's how it works for us. today we're fighting against sometimes the legal system, um, and and in my personal experience, like we should be respectful with people, like how we respect other people with religion, different ideas, different cultures. That's how we should respect them as a person, but put a stop to, hey, this is my personal boundary as my religious boundary. Um, like, don't force this on me, and I won't force my religion on you. Be respectful as we could be respectful, like our boundary and their boundary. Like in my personal experience with regarding like pronouns, I had a professor, my English professor. Her pronouns were, I mean, it was they or they and them, and the professor's like, hey, just respect my pronouns. If you don't want to say my pronouns they them, just say my nickname for short. Let's say like me, Bere. Or just say Bere each time. Like, hey Bere, you wanna walk? You wanna talk? Could we talk about this essay, Bere? She gave us the option. She respected a boundary, and I respected her boundary. I mean, my professor's boundary. So when it's like personal, or like someone with higher status than you, like a professor, a teacher, an elder, just say, okay, I'll just say your name or your boundary with them, but they should not force you to cross your boundary. And abortion is also a really strong topic. It has affected people worldwide, nationwide. What is it called? How my choice, my body, all that. During classes, it was in campus when I was going to my classes. 2 times there was a group of people bystanding like, oh, abortion, you shouldn't do abortion. Has posters like, oh, this is what abortion causes. And the first time that I saw it myself, so I was in campus for 2 years. Yeah. And the first time I saw it, they had to clear it out because a fight broke out. And then the second time, there was a huge, so when I got there was like the people there, right, and like 1 or 2 engaging with the anti-abortion people, and they were talking calmly, but then when I came out of class 1 hour later, there was a huge crowd, protesters, so they still had their stands, but they were surrounded with people that were for abortion, and there was like security and campus personnel there, but also policemen. They were guarding there, like, so that it doesn't get physical. But that's where I saw, like, in reality, like, oh wow, it's actually huge. It's big. And one where, regarding that, God says, regarding that, God is the only one who could give or take away life. Like in 1st of Samuel, chapter 2, verse 6 to verse 7. it says, the Lord kills and make alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord makes the poor and makes rich. He bringeth low and lift up. So that's where in the Bible it says only God is the one who gives and takes away life. God is a merciful God, but sometimes when He anger Him, He's a jealous, angry God. Yeah, sure. One could contest that. Oh, yeah. Well, in the Ten Commandments, and it specifically says, "Do not murder." It goes against the laws of God, but the exception is when God specifically says, go to war and kill everyone who's there. That's because it's direct command of God. We've seen in in this in the Bible, Israel went to war with the Philistines. When in Joshua, when the walls that once Joshua, the Israelite army, moved in after the walls of Jericho fell, how they had to go in and kill everyone except the woman who helped the two spies. We understand that sometimes but that's because God commanded it directly to Joshua to kill everyone except the people who were to be saved. He's the people who God specifically said to not kill. So the woman who helped the two spies of Israelites. In one where it actually affected like my personal life was feminism. I actually never went to like rallies of like feminism. Like I only got like glimpses of women should all be paid equally, equal rights. Just like small mentions, but never fully consuming content of like feminist ideas. Like get a magazine of someone, or like big feminist people, like celebrities, or like read books of the theology of feminism. I only captured like small things, but it started to affect my personal life. Those small bits of things that, oh yeah, women should get paid equally. Only those small bits, like that spirit was actually in me. I didn't notice, and I didn't notice when like that spirit of feminism hooked itself in me. But in my personal life situation, my mom is a single mom, so she works 5 times a week, from like 9 to 4 or sometimes 10 to 5. And so my responsibility, and I have a younger brother and my grandpa, but he hurt his leg, so I'm the one who helps around the house. But the thing is, my little brother helps me. He knows how to cook, he knows how to clean, he knows how to wash. He's not like, we do equal chores. Like I do the food, I warm up the food, but he has to like put the drinks, the utensils in the table. And so he I started, so that was my responsibility, do the basic, clean, warm up the food, and give the food. Um, but even that small thing, I was arguing with my brother. It was causing fights between my brother. I was making fights with him. I'm like, why should I be warming up the food? Can't you do it? You're capable of doing it. But my brother was doing his part of his chores, cleaning up, washing dishes, putting them away. He was doing more than me, but I was still arguing with him. Like, hey, why am I doing it? In my mind, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, is it because I'm a woman? Or is it because, yeah, a woman as my gender? Why are we like being like old traditions that I have to do all the things that a woman has to do, since my grandpa and my brother are capable of doing it? And so during that meditation, that like, why me? Why? Because I'm a woman. Um, that that is the I thought about it like really good, and then I prayed. I was like, God, take out this anger out of me. I don't know why I'm like angry for just a small thing, even though my brother's helpful, being more than helpful. He's not lazy. He's not being a lazy brother. Um, and then that's when I understood that, hey, these are feminist ideas that are took root in me. That seed of those small feminist ideas was growing, um, and so that's when I prayed, and that's when I felt like when I was liberated from that spirit. Because afterwards, even to today, I don't argue with my brother or my mom regarding cooking, cleaning. I don't argue anymore with that. Mostly we argue to clean outside, like in the garden. But like that took away. I was the one causing the chaos, the problems, because of that root that took on me of feminist ideas. And so for the glory of God, that anger, that resentment, that thinking, hey, because I'm a woman, or um, God took out that root out of me. Um, for the glory of God, I don't have those type of way of thinking anymore, um, and uh, that's why we should be careful what we intake, even if it's a small one. That seed has been thrown. Your spiritual uh, growth, your spiritual tree that what you are, has taken root, or has caught like weeds, as you said, as in the Bible. Those weeds are growing besides the the plant that you grew with when you come to Christ. Um, and because of that liberation, feminism, I've been in peace, and there's peace in my house regarding that. Yeah, there's some areas we're still struggling with, but there's peace. I don't argue with my mom. I don't argue with my brother anymore regarding that. That's helped my home situation, my personal life, and for the glory of God, that's what well that's why it's good to meditate, to pray, uh, to read the Bible, to understand. Hey, uh, the intake. Even though I never physically, well, maybe physically I heard the feminist ideas, and never like thought to process in my brain, like actually think about it. But meditation does help you regard, hey, what am I doing wrong, or what are they doing wrong? Um, but for the glory of God is to liberate, and hopefully those who struggle in their life, in their home, in their life with regarding this idea, pray, meditate, pray with God to liberate, or uh, to give you peace, because feminism does somewhat hurt your life. thank you and for having me today. This is the first part. We'll continue on later, but thank you. Bye bye.